Organized labor gives NERC Sunday deadline to reverse hike in electricity tariff as experts support unbundling of the TCN. 3 injured as rainstorm destroys over 200 houses in Plateau State. APC directs Rivers State Assembly to impeach Governor Fubara. On the foreign scene, 11 workers found alive beneath rubble after South Africa building collapse. Good evening and welcome to the News Hour once again. My name is Abdullahi Ahmed. We start in Abuja as the organized labor has given the Nigeria Electricity Regulatory Commission, the NERC, till May 12 to withdraw the recent hike in electricity tariff or face unprecedented industrial action. The ultimatum was issued in a joint letter to the Chairman and Chief Executive Officer dated May 3, 2024 and copied to the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, the Ministers of Labour and Power, and the electricity distribution companies, among many others in the sector. The letter was signed by the NLC President Joe Ajero and TUC's Festus Osifo. The Nigeria Electricity Regulatory Commission's decision to split the TCN into 2 entities withdrawing 1 operating license is raising questions about electricity availability, grid stability, and the integration of independent power producers. Now, this move reflects ongoing efforts to address challenges within Nigeria's power sector. Noel Sampson in this report takes a look at the implications of this restructuring move.
The newly established Nigeria Independent System Operator of Nigeria Limited will assume direct responsibility for the national grid and associated market contracts managed from Osogbo. According to AADC Board Director, Engineer Dr. Abubakar Atiku Tambwa, said this strategic shift is a positive step forward and is expected to have an immediate impact.
This particular move will have significant impact on the delivery of power, particularly on the reliability and stability of the grid. We have all witnessed over the past years how the grid has been collapsing, possibly due to lack of adequate and measures to address it. So I believe with this split, the independent system operator will be fully charged and be enhanced to carry out such function of maintaining the stability of the grid.
According to other stakeholders, the Nigeria Independent System Operator of Nigeria Limited should be afforded a 1-year grace period before assessing their ability to resolve the frequent grid collapses and other related issues.
When it comes to electricity consumers and affecting their supply, first off, the Nigerian power supply system is weak right now. And why is it weak? It's because there is inadequate revenue and there is infrastructural deficit. So now that the NISO is separate from the Transmission Company of Nigeria, let us wait at least a year and see what the impact is. I wouldn't want us to just jump the gun and say, oh, this is what the reality is going to look like, because now we have the Electricity Act, which has given power to states to generate, transmit, and distribute power.
The Nigerian government's initiative to onboard the Transmission Company of Nigeria, TCN, into 2 distinct entities is sparking optimism for a more effective and dependable national grid. This move holds promise of improved access to electricity for the populace. Noel Sampson, Trust TV News, Abuja.
In other news, bandits have attacked Lungu community near Dan Ali town in Damusa local government area of Katsina State. During Monday's attack, the assailants killed a 31-year-old shop owner, while another victim escaped with gunshot injuries. According to an eyewitness account, the bandits spent over an hour looting houses, carting away food items and other valuables. According to them, despite several distress calls to security personnel operating in the area, there was no response, given the bandits ample time to operate with impunity. In a related development, bandits are demanding the sum of 11 million naira from the families of 4 abductees they whisked away from Dan Ali village on Friday night. A resident of Dan Ali community informed Trust TV News that the bandits were earlier demanding the sum of 50 million naira from the families as ransom. Elsewhere, residents of 10 communities in Giwa local government area of Kaduna State have fled their homes due to the activities of bandits in the area. It was learned that many of those affected, particularly women and children, trekked long distances to seek refuge in neighboring communities. Umar Awal Bijimi, the representative of Giwa West constituency at the Kaduna State House of Assembly, says the exodus began after the redeployment of a dedicated and effective military official who played a crucial role in combating the banditry plaguing the area. Samuel Aron, the Commissioner of Internal Security and Home Affairs, says relevant stakeholders, including the chairman of Giwa local government area, as well as local leaders, have been engaged in discussions with the ministry regarding security concerns. He also affirmed that the matter has been escalated to appropriate authorities, while adding that concerted efforts are underway to enhance intelligence gathering and bolster security measures in affected communities. Well, let's circle back to that development in Katsina in Dan Ali, where Abdullahi Yamadi, our correspondent in Katsina State, is joining us now to give us an update on this particular development. Abdullahi Yamadi, thank you so much for making the time. What can you tell us about the details of this recent attack? I understand that there was one that was carried out on Friday and another one on Monday night that led to the death of one person, while another has is suffering from gunshot injuries. What more have we learned about this recent attack?
Well, the lesson we have learned is that the issue of insecurity is escalating seriously like wildfire, because these are communities that have been coming under attacks for almost over a decade now. And consistently they are being attacked day in, day out. So the recent attack is only an indicator that the bandits are still there. And of course, like many people have been saying, Musa is one of the local governments that have been infested by these bandits. And all attempts made by the government to at least contain the situation proved abortive, despite the establishment of this community security watch corps and other conventional security agencies. But yet this issue of banditry is escalating in this part of the state.
Right. And when it comes to the scale of the problem versus the scale of the solution, is this just a matter of numbers? Is the presence of the security operatives not enough to deter these bandits from attacking these volatile communities?
Well, the major issue there is not the only of it's not only about the availability of security operatives, but also the willingness by the members of the communities to furnish security agencies with the relevant information that will assist in tackling the situation. Many people are afraid to release any information to security operatives due to the fact that most of the times, if they volunteer that information or such informations, the bandits will make them soft targets and attack and kill them.
Right. And recently, we understand that the governor has made some remarks regarding the insecurity, especially in Katsina State. He was part of those governors that attended that security summit in the United States. Give me a sense of what is changing now, especially in light of what has happened, and what more can you tell us about this particular town of Dan Ali in Amusa local government area of Katsina State? How volatile is the security situation over there?
You see, the participation of governors in this meeting has not yielded any fruitful result. Even if it has, maybe we're yet to see that impact yet. And of course, recently the governor was saying that there are bandits, or rather collaborators to bandits in civil service, or rather among workers, and of course security operatives. Yes, of course, many people are of that belief that there are bandits or collaborators to bandits within the security architecture, and of course other civil servants. But people are waiting to see when the governor will make it public that they have made some arrests regarding the claims he is making. And regarding the volatile nature of Dang Ali in Tamusa local government, Tamusa has been one of those frontline local government areas of Kaduna State where bandits have been maiming and of course attacking and killing people over the last 1 decade. So, and of course, Dang Ali village is not isolated to that, and they have been coming under attacks. Many people have fled the town, and what I believe is that people there are only living at the mercy of the hoodlums.
All right. Abdullah Yamade, as always, thank you so much for the update. This is, of course, signposting the weekly occurrence, especially in some of these volatile areas. But thank you most kindly for giving us an update on this development. Thank you for your time.
Okay, thank you, Abdullah. Thank you, Mr. Sally.
Okay, let's move on to some of the day's other news stories now. And still talking security, 2 people have reportedly been killed and 18 others kidnapped by terrorists in Gefe community of Kala Ward in Kajuru local government area of Kaduna State. A resident of the area who confirmed the incident to newsmen on Tuesday says the terrorists invaded the village on foot on Monday morning at around 1 a.m. He disclosed that since November last year, terrorists have constantly attacked the community, forcing many to pay ransom to free their relatives from captivity. Relating to the recent incident, a resident says no ransom demands have been made yet as the community mourns the dead. Elsewhere, bandits in the early hours of Tuesday stormed Gusau, the Zamfara state capital, killing and kidnapping, the manager of Taj Bank in Gusau, Mansur Kaura, at his residence. A source close to the manager says the bandits invaded the house at Gidandari bypass around 12 a.m. on Tuesday, whisking the manager to an unknown destination. Now, the spokesperson of the Zamfara State Police Command, Yazid Abubakar, said the police team has been deployed and is currently on the trail of the kidnappers with the objective of rescuing the victim unhurt. Still talking security matters, the House of Representatives has called for proactive steps from security agencies to address the resurgence of banditry and kidnapping across many parts of the country. This follows several motions of urgent public importance regarding cases of insecurity in parts of Enugu, Kaduna, and Abia states.
I think that we should look at all our resolution that has to do with insecurity, all the resolutions. Let us put them together and begin to ensure compliance with some of these resolutions. Because we arrive at resolutions day in, day out, and nothing happens. And to Nigerians, it is as if we are not doing anything or we don't really bother. I think that we have enforcement mechanism to some of our resolutions. Let us activate those enforcement mechanisms so that we begin to enforce resolutions.
We have an alternative where we can bring in mercenaries. It was attempted during President Goodluck Jonathan. They were about to finish Boko Haram. And later on, the new president was convinced and removed them out of the country, and the insecurity keep on escalating.
Urge the Nigerian police force and the Nigerian army, as well as the Department of State Security Services, to collaborate and ensure that the culprits involved are brought to book. Also urge the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs and Poverty Alleviation, the National Emergency Agency, NEMA, to provide food and non-food items to the affected victims.
Well, in another development, the House of Representatives also mandated its Committee on Navy to investigate the circumstances surrounding the death of one Richard Onumebu, who was a civil servant in Abia State after he was allegedly tortured by men of the Nigerian Navy civil matters.
Onumebu was subjected to brutal torture for horrifying duration of 5 hours from 8 p.m. to 1 p.m. by 5 naval officers, reportedly summoned by an aggrieved lady who had issues with the deceased. This barbaric act not only robbed Mr. Onumebu of his life, but also tarnished the reputation of the Nigerian Navy and violated the fundamental human rights.
Elsewhere, the Niger Armed Forces have apprehended a notorious Nigerian bandit kingpin, popularly known as Kachala Maidaji, near the border town of Ilela. According to Zagazola Makama, a security analyst and counterinsurgency expert, Kachala Maidaji has left a trail of terror and devastation across northeast Nigeria over the past decade. The bandit leader was said to be particularly active in the Ilela region, terrorizing villages in the surrounding areas. The bandit was captured by Nigerian forces as he attempted to rustle livestock across the Nigeria-Niger border. On Sunday, no fewer than 11 persons reportedly died and 5 others injured when 2 vehicles drove over suspected bandits' landmines in Gamborungala and Dikwa local government area of Borno State. In other news, just 3 months following the reopening of the Nigeria-Niger land borders, signs of economic revival are beginning to emerge in border communities spanning both nations. Notably, in Kwani village within Niger Republic and certain areas of Sokoto State, cross-border trade is experiencing a resurgence, marking a positive turnaround in regional commerce. Here is Trust TV's Yusho Adamu with a situation report.
On March 13, 2024, the federal government announced the reopening of Nigerian land borders with the Niger Republic, 18 days after the Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS, lifted its sanctions on Niger Republic, Mali, and Burkina Faso. Commercial drivers shuttling between border communities of the 2 countries have returned to business after the reopening of the land borders. We are happy now our business is going without any problem since the reopening of the land borders. We travel in day and night hours, and we do not have any problem with security personnel at both countries' borders. According to some commercial drivers, less than 3 months after the reopening of land borders, transportation activities between the 2 countries have returned in earnest. At least between 3 and 4 commercial vehicles are conveying passengers from Babatasha in Sokoto State to Kwani village in Niger Republic every day and vice versa. Also, between 5 and 7 trucks of domestic animals are coming into Nigeria from Niger Republic, particularly on market days, for onward sales to interested buyers. I have been plying this road for the past 20 years. And apart from this year, when the Nigerian government closed its borders with the Niger Republic, we have never faced such problem before. We thank God, Nigerian government has reopened the borders and everything is moving smoothly. Also, local merchants dealing in animals, foodstuff, and other essentials have returned to daily transportation of goods between the 2 countries. Hawa Ulawali, a renowned trader from Kwani village in Niger Republic, recounted her experiences conducting business after the reopening of Nigeria-Niger land borders. We are buying and selling goods in both Nigeria and the Niger Republic. We are conducting our businesses peacefully after the reopening of the land borders. We are not facing any hindrances with both Nigerian and Nigerian security personnel since the reopening of the land borders. The reports say business relationship among commercial drivers, traders, and security personnel at both Nigeria and the Niger borders remain cordial, as everyone is going about their businesses without hindrances. Transportation activities are going smoothly. We carry passengers from Sokoto, and the people of Niger Republic also send passengers from Konni. At least 3 vehicles used to leave this motor park to Niger Republic daily. We do not have any problem with security personnel in Nigeria and Niger. They never reject our vehicles from entering into Niger, and the Nigerian security also never reject vehicles coming from Niger Republic. The hope of many Nigerians and Nigerians, especially those in border communities, is for the governments of the two countries to maintain peaceful coexistence for the overall development of their citizens. Yusho Adamu, Trust TV News, Sokoto.
To Plateau State now, where a destructive rainstorm swept through the Miango district of Basa local government area of the state, leaving a trail of devastation in its wake. The storm tore through over 200 structures comprising residential buildings, a healthcare center, classrooms, business premises, and poultry farms, stripping off rooftops and leaving them in ruins. Fortunately, amidst the chaos, there were no reported fatalities. However, the storm inflicted injuries upon 3 individuals who are currently undergoing medical treatment. Additionally, countless others have been displaced, grappling with the harsh reality of destitution. Now, in response to this development, the Miango Youth Development Association, a socio-cultural group in the district, has extended support to the affected population. Many have sought refuge in the generosity of their neighbors, finding solace amidst the turmoil. Nuhunga, the spokesperson of the Miango Youth Development Association, issued a plea for urgent assistance from both the National Emergency Management Agency and the Plateau State government. He emphasized the dire need for aid, particularly for those who have suffered significant losses in the disaster. Now, the House of Representatives on Tuesday issued a 14-day ultimatum to the nation's cement manufacturers to appear before the House Committee or face legislative sanctions. The Chairman, House Committee on Solid Minerals, Gaza Jonathan, and the co-chairman of the Committees on Commerce, Industry and Special Duties issued the ultimatum at the joint investigative hearing on arbitrary increase in the price of cement in Nigeria. The committee also summoned to appear before it on May 21st the Minister of Solid Minerals, Dele Alaki, over the matter. Jonathan, who expressed displeasure over the non-appearance of critical stakeholders, says there is no court injunction restraining the committee from carrying out their responsibilities constitutionally. Earlier, Speaker of the House of Representatives, Abbas Tajuddin, who was represented by the Deputy Speaker of the House, Benjamin Kalu, decried the housing deficit in the country while reaffirming the House is actively working to establish appropriate legislation that promotes and encourages industrialization as well as supports small and medium enterprises in the country.
In January, one of the companies had actually said they were going to sell cement for 3,500 naira a bag. One of the companies. Why this arbitrary increase from 4,500 to as much as 13 to 15,000, and right now is stabilizing at about 10,000 to 12,000? It is still too high. And who are those at the short end of the stick? Who are those suffering? It is you and I. So please, we are taking this time so that we can actually emphasize and underpin the importance of this investigation to the people of Nigeria.
As you all know, it is self-evident that we have a huge housing deficit presently in Nigeria. According to a study by researchers of the African Development Bank, the Housing Market Dynamics in Africa book, there is a housing deficit of up to 16.9 million units.
You're watching the News Hour on Trust TV. Coming up ahead, showcasing artistry as a means to addressing social issues in Nigeria. More details on the Kaduna Book Festival and many other stories after the break. Welcome back to the news. Thank you very much for staying with us. Let's take another look at our top stories. Organized labor has given the NERC Sunday deadline to reverse the current electricity tariff as experts support the unbundling of the Transmission Company of Nigeria. 3 persons have been injured as rainstorm destroys 200 houses in Miyango of Plateau State. To River State now, where the state chapter of the All Progressives Congress has directed members of the State House of Assembly, led by Martins Amehule, to commence impeachment proceedings against Governor Siminalayi Fubara. The caretaker committee chairman of the APC in River State, Tony Okocha, gave the directive during a media conference in Port Harcourt, the state capital. Okocha said no section of the Constitution empowers the governor to declare the assembly members non-existent. Governor Fubara had addressed the assembly as non-existent when he received a delegation of Ijaw leaders from Bayelsa State on Monday at the government house in Port Harcourt.
He does anything he cares to do, and that is impunity. We also not sit down here on behalf of Rivers people to see Rivers State become a laughingstock in the Committee of Nations. When you have a governor who does not know his right from his left, so our charge to the assembly members is to commence immediately. And if they don't do that, there's what they call party discipline. We shall invoke that section of the Constitution and deal decisively with them.
Still talking politics, the main opposition People's Democratic Party in Katsina State is facing internal division following the recent appointment of a state caretaker committee by the national leadership of the party. The faction led by the former secretary to the state government, Mustapha Inuwa, has contested this decision alongside some stakeholders of the party, resulting in fractures within the PDP in the state. From Katsina, Abdullahi Yamadi tells us more.
Though the National Working Committee of the PDP has the legitimacy to appoint members of the State Working Committee, the aggrieved members are alleging that the appointment is one-sided and in favor of the 2023 governorship candidate of the party, Yakubu Lado Dambarki. While reading the party's stand regarding the NWC's appointment of the State Caretaker Committee, one of the aggrieved members, Senator Zauri, said, all bona fide members of the PDP in Katsina State have kicked against what they described as an unholy alliance and a deliberate attempt to sabotage the party at the state level.
This made the majority to disagree with the caretaker committee's activities, including the members of the caretaker committee itself. The majority therefore approached the National Working Committee with the intent of finding a solution to the problem.
While alleging that Katsina State PDP has suffered more than it bargained for from the hands of the 2023 governorship candidate Yakubu Lado, the aggrieved members maintained that he lacks the capacity to win elections in an advanced society like Katsina, and urged the party to allow competent people to contest the exalted position. The party members said they were also pained by the failure of Senator Lado to challenge the 2023 governorship election at the tribunal as planned by all stakeholders, alleging complicity on the part of the candidates.
The majority of members of critical stakeholders met and resolved that something should be done to remedy the situation. We all agree that all of us should put our personal interest and ego aside. We should work to make PD a formidable platform where whoever has any interest or harness the interest from that solid platform. For the reason above, we agreed to meet all the PDP elders of Northwest geopolitical zone and address them with the happenings in Kaduna State.
Meanwhile, an ally of Senator Yakubu Lado, Lawal Dang Ade, says the caretaker committee, as constituted by the National Working Committee of the party, has the representation of all interest groups, debunking insinuations that factions exist in Kaduna State PDP.
Why would they sideline themselves somewhere, meeting, attacking single person? There is nothing that you will show to the people that these people have helped this PDP. They are not for the progress of the party. They are ambitious. And small time you see them breaking. They will break themselves because all of them have an ambition. 3 of them are aspiring for office of the governor. So how can they reconcile?
Meanwhile, observers are advising the leadership of the main opposition party to tread with caution in order not to further deplete the party, which is yet to recover from the recent defection of the former governor Ibrahim Shema, alongside thousands of his supporters to the ruling All Progressives Congress, APC. Abdullahi Ismayamadi, Trust Television News, Katsina.
Now, addressing the HIV/AIDS epidemic in Nigeria requires a concerted effort with stakeholders in Abuja, advocating for increased funding to fill existing gaps. With 1.9 million Nigerians living with HIV, heightened awareness and education efforts are imperative to curbing further transmission, as Ibrahim Ismail reports.
In recent years, many African countries, Nigeria included, have relied on donor agencies to finance their HIV response effort. However, stakeholders are advocating for a shift, emphasizing the importance of governments taking on a more active role in funding. Sustainable funding is essential to combat the spread of infection, particularly among youth, who comprise the largest demographic in the country.
The 9% was talking about the budgets, the domestic budgets, the funds that is coming from the federal government. And I can assure you that our President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, is very passionate about this. And I'm sure in the coming years, the domestic budget, will increase, just like you heard, the chair of ATM, the Honorable Amobi say, so we are improving gradually. And this conference is also to emphasize the need to have that domestic resources and to have ownership, government ownership of the mandate, the response to the HIV treatment and also the prevention aspects.
As the call for sustainable funding for HIV and AIDS response grows louder, youth advocates are pushing for increased enlightenment programs to raise awareness about HIV safety protocols among Nigerians. Abdul Qadir Ibrahim, representing the network of people living with HIV and AIDS in Nigeria, highlights the importance of such initiatives.
So all we need is people to go out and know the HIV status. That's the best thing every citizen could do, because once we are able to know the estimated number of people who know their HIV status, and eventually among those who get tested, we are able to know those that are positive, then we should be able to put them on treatment. So once that is done, I'm pretty sure we have a pathway of ending the AIDS epidemic in Nigeria.
Participants in the HIV prevention conference are sharing their experiences, underscoring the need for proactive measures in combating the epidemic.
Yeah, actually it's worrisome because, most people look at HIV/AIDS as a sickness that is gotten from sexual activities, but it's more than that. You can just contract it from maybe making contact with someone that already has the disease through blood contact, or maybe using an object that the person used. So you can get it without even knowing that you're in it. Maybe you use the barber's shop and maybe he didn't sterilize his barbing tool.
Basically, what we're actually into is to actually disaggregate HIV messages to adolescents and young persons. So we have a WhatsApp group where we actually educate young MSM who are sex worker on how they could actually stay safe and actually protect themselves from HIV.
In the past year, the National Agency for the Control of AIDS introduced the National HIV and AIDS Strategic Plan 2023-2027 alongside the Sustainability Pathway for National HIV Response 2023 to 2030. This document aimed to bolster the HIV response with the overarching goal of ending AIDS by 2030. However, their full implementation hinges on securing sustainable funding. Without adequate financial support, achieving this ambitious target will remain out of reach. Ibrahim Ismail, Trust TV News, Abuja.
Elsewhere, participants at the Kaduna Book and Arts Festival have emphasized the vital role of writers and artists in addressing Nigeria's challenges. Now, they highlighted how negative narratives about the country could be corrected through literature as well as art, reshaping perceptions and inspiring positive change. By harnessing their talents, the writers and artists are challenging norms and provoking action, offering insights as well as solutions to Nigeria's societal issues. Trust TV's Bello Musa tells us more.
The festival showcases works of different book writers, artists, and other enthusiasts. Declaring the festival open, Kaduna State Governor Obasani says the event will help in the advancement of states and the Nigeria education as well.
It is clear that Tabafest is not just a festival. It has become a movement towards the establishment of a sustainable ecosystem for arts, providing young people with a platform where culture and commerce intersect fruitfully.
Some of the participants say the festival afforded them the opportunity to improve their creative enterprises.
It has helped me see new things from a wider perspective and how that as a woman and as a northerner I can do like great things. I don't have to dream small because of my culture or societal expectations.
We had so many actors, Uzi Usman and Gideon Devino, Ria, and so many amazing actors and actresses of the Kannywood. And we have the chance to ask them some questions which we wanted to ask them but we couldn't. And now we have asked them and they gave us the answer. And we are.
If you trade it back to the pre-colonial, era, you get to understand that there had been literacy in the northern Nigeria and people were used to reading. But along the line, we lost that. And there will be need for that to be brought back.
So what you see is a woman in the kitchen, a woman looking after the children, and it is the male that goes out and...
Despite the opportunity availed for the participants to expand their capacity, they cited some challenges hindering their growth.
We face a lot of challenges because I feel basically, in fact, people in the north or most people from the south or west actually feel that we don't practice art because we don't really see it as a way of expressing ourselves.
So even young writers who are trying to write don't have the time and the space to do that. So that's a problem. That's one of the challenges. So there are numerous challenges. Some are peculiar to the north, some are not.
Of writers right now are having a problem of having focus. Being on social media, they are intimidated. They see a lot of works. They don't really focus on their craft. And then AI also is contributing to not them writing original stuff.
The founder of the festival, Hadiza Erufai, and the curator of the festival, Lola Shonein, and other dignitaries said right from inception, the festival has been a platform where many talents explode their potentials.
What we intended to do is to encourage young people so that they can explore their creativity, and it seems that we have succeeded because when the founder of Good Wealth Ms. Lola was talking, she spoke about some of the artists that are originally from Kaduna that have now received some kind of international recognition.
This is a very important event because it brings together young people from northern Nigeria to discuss about their personal development, their creative enterprises, and how to boost them.
Funding is always a challenge. I can tell you that as a curator. But when we come to Kaduna State, that is not the case. This is the only state-funded literary festival that is organized in Nigeria today. And I think that's an excellent feat.
Some of the features of the Kaba Fest are panel discussion, film presentation, book chat, art exhibition, poetry, among others. Bello Musa, Trust TV News Kaduna.
Now, the Nigerian Senate has set up a committee to look into the Abuja Centenary City 10 years after it was kick-started. At the resumption of plenary on Tuesday, the Senate also considered new bills as senators remain divided over the paucity of funds to finance projects. Here's Trust TV Senate House Senate correspondent Sagir Ibrahim with the latest on today's plenary.
At the Senate's recent plenary session, discussion centered on the establishment of public institutions, with senators expressing concerns over potential financial burdens associated with proposed bills. Senator Suleiman Sadiq introduced a bill to establish the National Institute for Education Planning and Administration, prompting caution from Senator Adams Oshomole regarding additional strain on government finances, particularly in light of plans to implement the Orosanye report.
We have to be careful not to create more and more institutions. I am not able to readily understand why the Ministry of Education cannot create a department to deal with all of those issues that this particular bill sought to achieve.
The institution NEPA is already existing, and it has a very functioning and functional office in Ondo State where they are doing a good job. But there is no legal framework, and that is what this bill intends to achieve. So there is no additional financial application on the part of the government on this particular institution. It's just to give it a legal backing.
If the administration wants to merge this institution with another, it is free to do so.
Senate leader Yahya Abdullahi clarified that the bill aimed to provide legal backing to an existing institution rather than create a new one, alleviating some initial concerns. Despite the debate, there was significant support for a bill to establish the Federal University of Applied Sciences in Manchok, Kaduna State, as lawmakers emphasized the importance of legislation enhancing access to education and citing the correlation between education, investment, and development, drawing examples from developed countries. Under the guidance of the Senate President, the bill passed its second reading.
We are now in the era of AI, artificial intelligence. The world is moving very fast. We can't be left behind. We need to have this kind of institutions, science-inclined institutions, to provide necessary education to our youth, to all our sundry, to be better placed in that position to develop our country.
I am convinced that we don't just need education, we need relevant education. And this bill speaks to and intends to achieve those fields in which we still have some deficiency.
I thank the new Senator Sunday Masha for bringing this bill. And there is no single person opposed to the bill being read a second time.
Meanwhile, Senate President Godswill Akpabio named Deputy President of the Senate, Barrow Jibrin, to chair a 7-man ad hoc committee tasked with investigating the stall of the Abuja Centenary City project, which had been approved a decade ago. The project, intended as an economic hub, had seen minimal progress, prompting concerns about its delay. Senator Ashiru Oyetola reviewed less than 7% progress on critical infrastructure, such as road construction, and Senator Isa Ibrahim Echuchu suggested involving investment bankers to attract foreign investors, albeit expressing reservations about the creation of ad hoc committees.
Reviving and completing Abuja Centenary City project, we have immense benefits for Nigeria, including job creation, elevating Nigerian profile as an attractive investment destination for foreign investment,
tourism and events, and overall national development.
If the Ministry of Finance can put together a team of investment bankers to come up with a package, okay, that will enable investors to invest in that project by way of ordinary shares and debt, I think it will be a good combination.
I don't support this idea of any issue that comes up, you set up ad hoc committee, ad hoc committee. Why did we give the committees responsibility then? Our committees are based on capability of our colleagues. So unless the issue at stake cannot be properly placed, it's neither here nor there, then you set up an ad hoc committee.
Accordingly, we hereby set up the ad hoc committee because of the seriousness of this project. We have a 7-man committee to look into the issue.
Despite concerns, the Senate President appointed Deputy President of the Senate, Jibrin, as chairman of the committee alongside other notable senators like Senator Adiola Olamilekon and Senator Aminu Tambuwal. The committee was tasked with reporting back to the Senate within 4 weeks. This investigation underscores the Senate's commitment to oversight and accountability in public projects aiming to address issues hindering progress and ensure effective utilization of resources. From the Senate chambers of the National Assembly, Sagir Ibrahim, Trust TV News, Abuja.
All right, now time to bring you up to date with the day's latest in business with Yusuf Akogo.
Thank you, Abdullahi, and welcome to Business News. I am Yusuf Akogo. The Socio-Economic Rights and Accountability Project, SERAP, has issued a warning to the federal government to reverse the 0.5% cybersecurity levy imposed by the Central Bank of Nigeria. SERAP also threatened to take legal action against the government if it failed to reverse the levy within 48-hour time frame. The non-governmental organization stated this on Tuesday via its X handle, formerly Twitter. The Central Bank of Nigeria had ordered banks operating in the country to start charging cybersecurity levy on electronic transactions. A circular from the Apex Bank on Monday disclosed that the implementation of the levy will start in 2 weeks. In an effort to secure another $750 million loan from the World Bank, the federal government is planning to reintroduce previously suspended telecom tax and other fiscal measures. This is according to the Stakeholders Engagement Plan for Nigeria. A copy of the plan's document posted on the World Bank website indicated that the government might reintroduce the excise on telecom services and EMLT levy on electronic money transfers through the Nigerian banking system, among others. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu had in July 2023 ordered the suspension of the 5% excise duty on telecommunications and import tax adjustment levy on certain vehicles. An internationally conceived 50 by 2030 initiative, the World Bank, the Food and Agriculture Organization of the United Nations, FAO, and the International Fund for Agricultural Development, IFAD, have signed an agreement to, in 10 years, commit the sum of $500 million towards data gathering to stem agricultural production without solid information base. Expected gains from the initiative include, among others, increased agricultural productivity, enhanced livelihoods, and development of informed, smart, and viral agricultural policies. The program aims to build capacity to enable data-driven policies and decision-making. The partnership is expected to directly impact 50 countries in Africa, Asia, the Middle East, and Latin America by 2030. Equity segments of the NGX closed in red for the second consecutive trading session as sales pressure hit large-cap stocks. Let's see how it went down this Tuesday. FBN, First Bank of Nigeria Holding, leading the losing equities there. 9.91% it lost to close at 25 naira and 45 kobo per share. Champion PLC, 9.78% down, 3 naira and 32 kobo the price share. And the livestock fees also down 9.71% to close at 1 naira and 58 kobo per share. Of course, this has dragged down the market by 0.48%. If you look at volume of trade, 425.664 million shares, valued at 8.348 billion naira in a list of 9,620 lead exchanges among investors. Of course, at the close of business this Tuesday, of course, top trading equities, you have United Bank for Africa, UBA, leading the table there. 102.23 million shares it traded. Access Corporation, 49.179 million shares. Of course, Transcorp Nigeria PLC, 30.138 million shares it traded at the close of business today. Of course, some equities recorded gain despite the position of the market today. The leading equities in terms of the gainers, we have a Presco leading there by 10% to close at 291 naira and 50 kobo per share. May and Baker, 10% as well, 6 naira and 60 kobo. It gained, of course, Japan Gold, 10% to close at 2 naira and 9 kobo per share. Of course, that's the highlight of the stock trading as it went down this Tuesday on the floor of NGS. Let's see the global stock market and, of course, the foreign exchange market for today. Oil prices fall as cost of Gaza war remains uncertain, while ceasefire talks hang in the balance. At the London market, Brent crude sells for $82 per barrel. For the oil basket, price dips further to $83 per barrel. And that's business. I am Yusuf Akogo. It's back to you, Abdul.
All right, thanks for the update, Yusuf Akogo. Let's take a look at developments on the international scene now, where rescue teams have found 11 workers alive beneath the rubble after a South African building collapsed. A multidisciplinary rescue team, including sniffer dogs, continued the search on Tuesday for the over 30 people still trapped under the rubble on a construction site in the South African city of George. All right, time now for some sports update with Adeni Ajishafe.
The Kaduna State government has expressed its readiness to partner with Dambe Warriors League to promote traditional boxing in the state. Kaduna State Commissioner for Information and Culture, Balasale Suzango, said the state will partner with DWL to develop Dambe sport and also enhance Katsina Dambe Arena. Zango assured Dambe fans in the state that government will soon organize an interlocal government Dambe competition. Dambe Warriors League Season 3 is slated for Katsina, while the finals for this season comes up in Abuja, where the King of Dambe would emerge. And in athletics, the Minister of Sport Development, John Owa Eno, has congratulated Nigeria's men and women 4x100-meter relay teams for securing tickets to Paris 2024 Olympic Games. The teams qualified during the 2024 World Relay Championship held in Bahamas. Nigerian sprinting prowess was on full display as the quartet of Udodun Wuzurike, Consider Ikanem, Alaba Akitola and Carlington Anunagba delivered a stellar performance, finishing second in Heat 2 with a remarkable time of 38.57 seconds to secure an automatic qualification for the Paris Olympics. Similarly, the Nigerian women 4x100-meter relay team of Josna Ekpobeyan, Favor Ofili, Olayinka Olajide and Tima Godbless showcased exceptional teamwork and speed, storming to victory at a time of 42.71 seconds. Their impressive performance earned them a well-deserved qualification for the Olympics. Owaeno said he is proud of the athletes' exceptional performance, dedication, teamwork and resilience to qualify for the Olympics. In addition, the minister commended the Nigerian quartet of Samuel Ogazi, Ella Onuvevo, Chidi Okeze and Esther Joseph for their remarkable performance in the mixed 4x400-meter relay. Although they missed out on the podium finish, yet their outstanding effort resulted in a new African record and Olympic ticket. As Team Nigeria continued preparation for Paris Olympics, Eno expressed confidence in their ability to excel globally, while reaffirming the federal government's commitment to supporting Nigerian athletes and ensuring their success. That's Sport News. I'm Adeni Ajishafe.
Well, that is our package for you on the News Hour tonight. Thank you most kindly for joining us. As always, we encourage you to follow us across all our media platforms so you can catch up with news updates as well as other relevant content. Also check out our website, trusttv.com. My name is Abdullahi Ahmed. From myself and the rest of the team, thank you for your time and good night.